Hello, you guys. This is Chit Chat with Cha coming at you with an experience video. So, as you can tell by the thumbnail, this video is going to be about my experience working at FedEx. Yeah. So, I'm going to try to make this quick and as detailed as I can with, what I can remember. I don't have anything written down, so just what I can remember from my experience. So I did work for FedEx for 3 weeks. So I think that's a good amount of time to get, pros and cons and figure out, okay, is this something I can do long term, short term, or it ain't gonna work, right? So obviously, if I lasted 3 weeks, it didn't work for me. That doesn't mean that it wouldn't work for someone else. It just didn't work for me. So, another thing is, I don't know if, I went in and I am, 37. So, maybe, that could have a little bit to do with it. There are a lot of younger people there, because it is a very physically demanding job. But with my background, I love weightlifting and, physical activity would be what I prefer as far as a work environment. I've never been the chick that wants to sit at a desk and be on the computer all day, or, I love to do things with my hand. I love to be active, right? So I was thinking like, okay, this would be, a good job to try out. I want to get more, back into, physical health. I want to get back active. So I was like, where can I work that will work, with my schedule, the kids' schedule, and my husband's schedule, to where, maybe I can work, super early and then have the rest of the day to be a mom, and tend to the house or whatever. So what I did was one weekend, I was just playing on my phone, thinking like, where can I work? Where can I work? And then I had saw like this little clip of someone that worked at FedEx, and they were talking about their experience there. And I was like, you know what? I think FedEx will be, a good job for me, like to try out. So, it's physical, and I hear, you can kind of choose your hours. So I was like, forget it. Let's, fill out the application. Fill out the application. And it took literally, I would say, 2 days, maybe even 1 day. I don't know. 1 to 2 days, they called me right on a Monday. And I remember talking to family and everybody, and I'm like, okay, I put in the application for, FedEx, and I'm hoping they call me, before this other job I had put in the application for, which is also going to be a video on that. So I had put in the application to do door-to-door sales, which is like crazy, right? I'm just like, I'm trying whatever. I don't care. Like life is about experiences. So I'm trying whatever. So I had put in the app for door-to-door sales, but then FedEx, I was like, dang, that feels like a better job for me, with the hours plus what they're offering. They were offering like, I think, $20 an hour or whatever with flexible shifts. So come Monday, the lady calls me and she's like, we got your application in. I just want to run through, what the job is, roughly about. You'll be sorting packages. You'll be working early shift. Early shift would be anywhere, she said, from start time would be anywhere from 3 to 6 as far as when you come in, right? And I'm like, feeling, I'm like, okay, yeah, that'll work. Of course, yeah, that'll work. And, and then she's like, okay, we're going to need you to come in tomorrow for orientation at 5 a.m. sharp, and it'll last till probably about 12. And I'm thinking, dang, like, I just filled the application out And I'm guessing just me agreeing to being able to do the hours. Oh, and if you can lift up to 50 pounds, like 50 pounds ain't nothing for me, So I'm like, yeah, I can do the job. And that's almost the extent of your interview. Just like maybe 3 to 4 questions, right? And if you say yes to it, or, you feeling it, they pretty much gonna hire you, right? So she was like, can you come in Tuesday? Which was, the next day, 5 a.m. to 12. And I said yes. As soon as I hang up the phone, I was like, 5 a.m. is crazy, right? Because I am not a morning person. It takes me till about 12 o'clock to start feeling normal. No lie. I don't care how much sleep I got. Now, I am a girl of low iron, so I'm always a little tired, but I'm really good at playing it off. Really good at playing it off, right? When I have to. So, that 5 a.m. hit me. I was like, 5 a.m. that's rough, but I'm going to do it. These people call me, and I was hoping that they would call me before the door-to-door people, and boom, why not? Let's do it. So, get there the next day. I wore something comfortable because, I'm thinking they're going to be teaching us how to do the work. So I'm like, I wore something comfortable, wore my tennis shoes, pants that I would normally wear to the gym, and a t-shirt, big t-shirt. And took my purse or whatever. So get there and park. And granted, I'm driving at 5 in the morning. It's dark outside at 5 in the morning. So I'm like, I'm really doing this, y'all. So I get there and I park, and I'm like, okay, there is an area you have to walk through with guards where they check you or whatever. Make sure you don't have anything dangerous in your bag. So once I get to that area, they pretty much, process us in for orientation. But they were like, okay, after today, you can't bring your purse or your cell phone. And I'm like, okay, cool, But what can we bring? Because obviously, being a woman or, anyone, you might need something like a snack, I don't know, something. So how would you do that? And then she's like, oh, well, you can get a clear bag, or they have lockers before you enter the the area where you get checked that you can use. I'm like, I ain't using a locker. I'm so OCD and germaphobe. I couldn't do that. So I was like, okay, I'll get a clear bag. I got clear bags because my kids play sports, and you gotta have clear bags. So I'm like, okay, check. I'll do that. Tomorrow I'll come with my clear bag. Sorry. So we get to the check-in area, and then they bring us into this room. There's probably about, I'd say 25 of us in a room. And ages range from look like 18 to, maybe 40s or whatever. And I could be saying 40s because I didn't want to feel like the oldest one in there. I feel like somebody in there might have been a little older than me. But if not, I don't care, I don't care. I'll do the job regardless, right? So the lady comes in there. She gives us a little water cup, a lot of water cup. The little, I don't use them. Everybody uses them, but I don't know what they call. The water jug, whatever, that you can refill. And then they give you a FedEx shirt. And I'm like, cool, here it goes, it's happening. They give us a little booklet, go through the booklet about their benefits. I don't remember in detail about their benefits, but what I do remember, it was amazing. And I was like, oh, this is feeling great. Another thing that feels great is it's clean. At least the area I'm in. Anywhere that I go to work, the first thing I look for is cleanliness. Because to me, if a company cares about cleanliness, then they do also care about other things, right? That's whether you go into someone's house or whatever, you just feel like, okay, step one is it clean, right? So I'm feeling good. I ain't itching, right? So they go through the benefits, and I remember thinking, okay, the benefits are amazing. You can get signed up on benefits day one if you want to, right? And then they start going over the training. So there's like little phases of our training, like where they go over how you pick up boxes, pretty much what to expect in a warehouse safety. Like say for instance, if you're wearing like long braids or something, you want to make sure they're tidied up in like a ponytail or long hair, period. You want it tidied up in a ponytail because your hair could get caught in like the assembly belts or whatever, and that's a problem. I don't really want to wear long nails. Because dealing with the boxes, especially the heavier boxes, it's gonna be an issue because I'm not like, a fancy, I'm not the girly type that even gets like my nails done or anything like that. I do keep them clean, but I don't go and like pay to get them done. If you pay to get them done, just know they're probably gonna break if you're doing this job, right? And even if you're not getting them done and they're just like mine, you can still get them caught with those heavy boxes, and it can break or whatever. So you do have to be like super careful with stuff like that. You don't want to wear loose clothing because loose clothing can get caught and tugged on the belt. So we go over all of that. We go over how to lift, like with your knees and not with your back. You don't want to pull a muscle. You don't want to get injured. They go over safety as far as with hazardous material, because you will have some boxes that contain explosive material or like all kinds of sorts of hazardous material that could leak or explode or whatever that you don't want to get on you. Now, in a situation where it does get on you, they do take you to an area to show you where you can get cleaned off and to make sure that you're good, right? So there's that. And then there's also labels on those packages to identify that this is hazardous. Okay, so my only thing with that is once I did get out there and you see those hazardous boxes, or boxes with a hazard sign on or whatever, I mean, they're still amongst all the other boxes, right? And I would say 8 out of 10 of those boxes, which you're supposed to take off the belt and maybe put it below until the driver figures out where he wants it on his truck. I say 8 to 10 of those boxes look damaged or like, it look like you're going to get something on you, So I was always extremely like cautious on where I grab the box and where I put it. They do give you extra tape to, tape stuff back up or whatever. So there's that as far as like a hazard to worry about. So we get through all the training on talking about that. They take us out and we had like a little break where, they showed us like where the coffee station was and vending machines. And it's just a small seating area where kind of like benches or whatever, where you can get some out of the vending machine or coffee, and then we go right back in there. At least the facilities here in Pflugerville, which is near Austin, very clean. Everything was clean, bathrooms clean, everything was very clean, and I was like shocked and surprised. I was like, I can, work comfortably here. After they go through all of that training with the booklet, we take like this small little test, which is not really a test. It's just pretty much over like just what they discuss for those few hours. So then they take us out to tour the building. We tour the building, huge facility where there's like these garage doors because of course the trucks come in and back up into whatever station the truck is supposed to be in, and they do that like later at night, I guess, where all the trucks are backed in. So that door remains open. So I quickly figured out that these doors remain open. That means that your cool air is just through these huge fans that they have. They have some huge fans like on the floor. Like, and when I say huge, I mean huge, like scary big. Turbo fans that they have on the floor. And then, of course, they have some, like the big ceiling fan or whatever, like to keep, air moving, circulation, or whatever. So I was like, okay. And that day it wasn't like super hot, so I would say it was like maybe in the 80s or whatever. So it wasn't super hot, especially with the fans going, and it's like super early in the morning, so the sun ain't even kicked in yet, right? So I wasn't thinking about nothing like that connected for me at the moment. So then we continue to tour. There's different lines. So say for instance, there's 6 lines down one side, and each line probably has like 10 trucks on this side back then and 10 trucks on this side back then. Like the trucks you see that go down the street and drop the packages off at your house. So there's 6 rows of that. So each row will have 20, if you know what I mean. 10 on this side, 10 on this side. Back, and this right here in the middle will be a conveyor belt. I'll have like pictures up here to, show you what that looks like. So there's 6 of those. That's a lot of trucks, right? And so you go up like these little steps to the conveyor belt, and there's people on each side, taking the packages off the conveyor belt, and which package is by the number. So each truck will have its own number. Like this will be truck 140, truck 141, truck 142, and so on, right? So you will take your package with your truck's number on it and place it on the truck. And I'll go more over that in a second. So they show us the restrooms. They show us also another area for trucks. But these are more like, not trucks, but trailers. The trailers, it's crazy, right? And I thought it was like really fascinating. I was like, oh, I think I want to be over here by the trailers. And they're like, yeah, this is loading and unloading for trailers. But these trailers are huge, right? In my head, based off of what she told me, like, oh, lift up to 50 pounds, right? So I'm thinking, oh, that's nothing. I would like to be on those big trucks and taking packages off and put them on. But then when I was like paying attention, I'm like, no, there's a lot of bending down to pick it up and take it out, right? To unload and put on the conveyor belts or whatever. So you saw like a lot of, I would say, slim fit people over there, slinging those boxes. And then further down, you have huge trailers. And when I say huge trailers, I mean like, you see the 18-wheelers, right? But these 18-wheelers are like the full inside of that trailer, plus they have an undercarriage that you have to get in to take boxes out to put on the conveyor belt and to put boxes down there. So you're doing both jobs depending on what station you're at. Which I did have an experience with that. So there's that, and then there's also these stations that look like so chill, peaceful, and laid back. And I immediately was like, I know they ain't gonna put me in that position, because these women that's in these positions look like they've been in these positions for years. And you might as well not even think about it. It's how I feel. I don't know if it's all the way true, but that's how I feel, because there's only like 1 or 2 of them doing it. And those are the small packages, like, like small package, like letter size, or not in a box. Just, little packages that you just toss here and there and sort. And they sort those and put them on the conveyor belt for us to put them in whatever truck they belong in. So after going over all that, they released us for the day. And then they told us, okay, tomorrow we're going to need you to come in at 3, and then we're going to start your training, your hands-on training, whatever. So I'm like, cool, 3 o'clock. So next day, come in at 3. Oh, I forgot. They do give you like a little temporary badge too there to use. And then it comes with like a little orange slot in that you keep on your arm. And that lets everyone in the building know you're a newbie, pretty much. Like, oh, she don't know what she's doing. Let's go help her or whatever. So like it's like a bright orange. And you're supposed to wear that for like a week, right? While you're training to identify that, okay, this person might mess up. Give them grace, right? So that's how I feel. I'm like, give me grace. Orange tag, give me grace, right? So we get there 3:00 in the morning, and I would say out of about 25 people in the orientation class that I had, I would say maybe 20 showed up. I think about five didn't show up. Like they were probably checked out. Like, nah, I can't do that, right? So they put me on assembly line 1. Sorry, and other people went to their designated areas. So I get on assembly line 1, and there's an older guy there that had been working there for like 8 years, right? And he was going to train me. So, like I said, on the assembly lines, you have about 10 trucks on each side. I'm on one side with him, and he's like, okay, so these 3 trucks are our trucks. So I'm like, okay, you get 3 trucks, right? Per person. Now, so I'm pretty much there like his helper, right? But without me being there, he would have all 3 trucks to load by himself. I came in, save the day. I feel like for him, like, okay, let me help you. Let's get through this. Let's make this shift, good. So I went in at 3 a.m. I didn't know exactly what the end time is. That's the thing. With FedEx, you don't know what your end time is. So it could be from like 3 to 6 or 3 to 9. Like, you don't know. It's what she told me. So I was like, okay, I'm just here to work. So he shows me how to look for the package numbers. It's like a little label on it, and it tells you where the package goes on the truck. So I match up the labels with the truck, and you can kind of set them on the end till you get like a little stack, or you can directly step on each truck and put it where it goes, right? So me, when I first started out, he would just sit the packages on the end of the truck, and I would just put them away for him, right? So he was just taking them off the conveyor belt and putting it on the truck. Now what they do is they're scanning each package also to identify that we put this package in the correct truck with the little scanners that they use. I didn't get that scanner at first. Some people got it the second day, but I didn't get it until like the 4th day, right? Because I just felt like they was using me to help load the packages and not be a scanner, because I was quick at picking the packages up and putting them up. And I'm like, I feel like they, were like, okay, she's really quick at putting the packages away. Let's just use her to put the packages away. So I'm helping him with his trucks, and we're getting done. Like, we're getting through them crazy fast, right? Because all he's doing is lifting them to me, and I'm putting it in the area it goes on. On the truck, it also shows you what section that box belongs in. So it could be the 1000s, the 2000s, 3000s, 4000s, or whatever. There's a label that will tell you which thousands that box is supposed to go to. Now, you can get a box that's about 30 pounds, right? And it's going to go on the top shelf. You can get a box that's 50 pounds, and it's supposed to go on the top, shelf. So you're lifting that box up, freaking getting it to your shoulder, and you getting it on the shelf where it's supposed to go. And I'm like, okay, this is a good workout. And I'm thinking, okay, surely most of the boxes are going to be like, okay, so I would say 50-50. I would say 50% of the boxes are heavy, and 50% of the boxes are fairly light. And actually, no, 50%, are fairly light. So, and then there are also these boxes that are ridiculously heavy. And they normally say, which they told us in training, that someone will help you with these boxes, right? Not really, right? So we'll get these huge boxes. It could be like a mini fridge or um like railings for a bed that's in a box. It could be like a half a cow. It could be anything you can think of, like heavy, like people be getting off Wayfair or whatever. Yeah, we toting them boxes off the line and dragging them, right, the best we can with no dolly. So you're having to walk the box to get it where it needs to go. They tell you not to put those boxes on the truck until the driver gets there, and the driver will position those boxes. So we're normally sitting them to the side or putting them beside the truck, which is not an easy task to get that heavy box, down beside the truck. And if I was a driver, I couldn't, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Thank God for them though. So I'm putting the boxes where they go. And before I know it, I'm like drenched in sweat, right? This is day one. Drenched in sweat. I don't know how much time I've been working. There's no clocks anywhere. And then, of course, you can't have your phone. So I'm like, the only way you can go off of what time it might be is if the sun comes out and you see the sun beaming from where the garage doors are. Or it's starting to get bright outside. Other than that, there's no clocks nowhere. And I thought that was really weird. So I'm helping him and I'm drenched in sweat. And I'm like, surely I've been working a couple of hours, and they'll tell you, constantly make sure you're drinking water. Sometimes they'll even put water or Gatorade or popsicles on the conveyor belt starting at the beginning. And as it comes down, each worker will grab what they need, And they do make sure that you stay hydrated. At least when I was there, they was making sure that we stayed hydrated. So then the lady came and that put us in our stations, and she's like, "Okay, you're free to go. I'll text you and let you know when to come in tomorrow." And I'm like, "What? Do it now?" And then she's off walking. And I'm like, "Okay, so I guess just clock out." So I go over there, clock out, swipe my card and clock out or whatever. And then they have your phone number. So there's supposed to be an app where you get your schedule, but I feel like they don't really go off of the app because the app will say come in at this time and she'll text a whole different time. Like the app may say come in at 3:15 Wednesday. And then she'll text and be like, "Oh, we need y'all there at 2:30. And I'm like, 2:30? 2:30 is before 3. 3 is 3 to 6 was the start time. And she just freely texts the group 2:30, 2:30, come in at 2:30. And, when it's a group message, I wasn't gonna be asking. I thought we got hired to do start time 3 to 6. I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna be a trooper. And I'm going at 2:30. I'm gonna get, a little to no sleep. Because I'm still finna cook dinner. I'm still finna do what I gotta do. And hang out with the family or whatever. And I'm just gonna get a little bit of sleep. And what I do is, when I get off work, take a shower and then take a nap. So I'm like, I'm gonna make it work. So we get there, I would say the second day, 2:30. And clock in and doing the boxes or whatever. And then I wasn't there that long. And she's like, "Okay, we're done. Y'all can clock out. It's just enough training for today." And so she released us after 2.5 hours of work. And I'm thinking, how are we supposed to get our work hours, for money if you're just releasing us just because you feel like we figured it out and that's enough work for today, But I was just like, you know what? Whatever. I'm going to just, I'm going to stick through it because, that's what I wanted. I wanted to, experience FedEx. So I would say for the next 2 weeks, I steadily did that job where eventually I got a scanner and was able to scan the boxes and put them on the truck. But the only thing is, so I'm the boxes are steadily coming down the conveyor belt, right? I would say at about this speed. Say this, my hand is a box. That's how the box moving, right? And so you grab the box that has your truck number on it, which they assigned me three trucks. And I'm like, okay, so I got truck, 40, 41, and 42. These are the trucks I need to have stocked. Keep in mind, each truck probably loads at least 100 packages each, if not more, right? And that's also taking into consideration small packages and big packages. And the oversized ones that I have to push down beside the truck. So I'm like, I love, a challenge, right? But to me, some stuff is just like borderline ridiculous, right? So I quickly understood that unless there's a class coming out, like we came out as a class from orientation to help with the trucks and help people with their trucks, you're pretty much on your own with 3 trucks. So there could be the assembly line, say my fingers are 4 or 5 boxes, right? Moving. 2 of these boxes could belong to someone all the way down at the end. So you just letting those go. This box, let me do this. This box, and that box is mine. Except for one of those boxes go on this truck, one go on that truck. And I have like this much time to figure out which box goes on which truck. So I'm grabbing mine as much as I can. If it's huge, you only can grab one, right? So I was like, okay, what strategy can I use to get the boxes on the truck? Because I can't just grab one box, because most of the time it was busy, so there was a lot of packages on the conveyor belt. It'd be different if there's like one big package and it's like going super slow, right? No, in this little frame here, there's probably 6 boxes. And another thing is, if you're at the beginning of the conveyor belt, you're having to sort the boxes. So on the left side of the conveyor belt would be odd numbers. On the right side would be even numbers, right? So my trucks would be pretty much like, say, even numbers or whatever. So I pick my box up, put them on the end of the truck, because I'm like, there's no way I could take one box at a time and walk it and put it in its perfect exact spot, then get back out there quick enough before my box, ends up in front of someone else's truck. So I had to figure out what works. There was a lot of times where a lot of people didn't get their boxes and they all end up down at the end of the conveyor belt, stacked up, like just, kind of smashing into each other until a guy comes around, gets all those packages on this, big rolling pin thing and rolls it back around, and puts it back on there because you missed it, So we're going to put it back on there so you can get what you missed, And you probably miss it again and again and again, but we're going to keep, doing that process until you get all your boxes. Plus there's other boxes coming down. So I would have to say that it is definitely almost impossible to do. For me, it was looking impossible to do 3 trucks by yourself, especially on a heavy day where there's like a lot of boxes on the conveyor belt. But I got the job done. I did it. But each day it felt like I was only working maybe, I would say 4 hours, and then maybe 5 hours some days, but not enough hours for it to make sense, right? Because in the midst of getting those 4 hours and 5 hours, there were some days where it was 2, and I'm like, yeah, it's just not adding up for me and what I expected, because what I expected was a start time from 3 to 6, and then that I would be able to work, at least 6 hours a day is what they kind of talked to us about. But to me, if it's a slow day and it's not like a ton of packages, they're definitely going to send you home early, not thinking if you need those hours or. So that kind of made me feel like, yeah, this is maybe like a part time job you get on the side for like quick cash or whatever. That's why maybe there's so many, young people, young kids working here or whatever. But at the same time, you're putting so much, like, it's so physically demanding that when you get off work, if you have another job to go to or something else to do, it's rough. I was so tired. Like, I would get off, and no lie, I loved the physical part of the job, but afterwards I would be so tired, so tired. The only thing I could think about was taking a shower and laying down and sleeping. And I was feeling like, dang, like I feel like I'm wasting a big chunk of my day, even if I go in for 2 hours. For those 2 hours, if you're slinging heavy boxes, it definitely feels a little more different than 2 hours. It feels like you've worked an 8 hour shift if you do 2 hours. That's how it feels. Which I still didn't have a huge problem with that. My biggest problem was what they expected for you to do in that little bit amount of time with no assistance, no help. So there was one other situation I do want to talk about that is the reason why I left. So I was like, doing packages on my 3 trucks, and then another guy came in and he's like, okay, we're going to finish these 3 trucks. We need you to help out in the trailer area. So I go to the trailer area and I'm like, oh, this is going to be cool, right? So I get over there and I'm like, they're telling me, okay, there's these huge chutes and the boxes are coming down the chute, and then they go into the trailer and you grab it from the chute and you stack the boxes. You're pretty much stacking this trailer as neat as you can, fitting the packages in there, to where you can get as many boxes as possible that's supposed to be on this truck, because you don't even know how many boxes are assigned to this truck at this moment. So I get in there, it's an empty trailer, and there's the top compartment, which we had to open all the flaps on. Once you open all the flaps, there's an undercarriage area where you have to fill up first. So I'm like, oh, this is cool. So I jump down in the undercarriage. There's like not any steps to get down in there. You gotta, have a good knee to jump down in there, to get the boxes. So the boxes start coming, and they're coming at a decent speed, right? So I'm just grabbing them and stacking them, because the first couple of boxes were kind of medium and easy, kind of light. And then some heavy ones start coming, and I'm like, okay, hold on. Heavy ones coming. You got to be strategic with it, because you don't want to pull the box out quick and it like lands on you, because you are still like a human down in a hole, pretty much. So I'm stacking them, and I'm thinking, I'm on this trailer by myself, right? And it's dark, and it's hot, right? No water, no nothing. And I'm thinking, how do I get out of this hole? So in my head, I'm stacking boxes while trying to be strategic on how am I going to get out of this hole once I fill this section up. And then the lady came like in a nick of time, and she's like, oh, once you get to the back and you fill that section up, reach down and let the flap fall and use that flap to get up. And I'm like, just be a ninja. Like, just flip out, right? And do this spin. Don't land on the rollers and just come out, right? It was laughable. But I laid the flap down. What I did was lay a flap down in front of me, and I got behind it to lift, like pull myself up, and then started laying those flaps down to create the floor, right? Because I was done with that section. Then I had to do the other section over here. Granted, when she came down to tell me to lay the flaps down, after that she just left. So can you imagine, getting hit by one of those boxes or overheating and nobody's there to check on you? There's no bill, there's no nothing, there's no phone. There's no way, sorry, there's no way to let people know you've been injured or you need help or assistance. So I get out and then I lay the other flaps down and then I'm like, okay, so I'm done with the undercarriage part. And then the driver of that trailer came and he's like, oh, I'm going to, help you out. And I'm like, thank God somebody's in here with me now. So the boxes are coming and we're having to load the inside of the trailer now that the undercarriage is full. And I'm just doing these boxes and I was just thinking like, this is not the job for me. I said, as much as I love a physically demanding job, this ain't, this not it. I was like, this is very dangerous. I was down there hot, like drenched in sweat, with no one checking in on me or nothing, no supervisor, no nothing, right? And it's a huge warehouse to be down in a trailer by yourself. To me, that's like, I don't know. I just feel like that's not right. So after that, all those thoughts kept going through my head. And I'm like, along with some mornings, they were trying to tell us to come in at 2. And they kept moving the times and stuff. And I was like, it's just too inconsistent. I'm not used to an inconsistent job that are not following good safety, protocols. So it's like, I was like, yeah, I know that this is going to have to be, it for me. And it was bittersweet because I didn't want to leave because I definitely felt like if the schedule was the right way and if we had a team of people helping, which I don't know if we didn't have a good team helping because of the turnover rate. Maybe people quit so quick that there's never enough people. But I definitely feel if there was enough people, the hours were consistent to where you know how much you're going to make and how many hours you're going to work. That way you can schedule your day around it. I think that I would have stuck around because as far as it being physically demanding, it's not too bad if you had some assistance. But it's like break your back energy. And I'm like, I'm my late 30s now and I'm like, charity girl, this ain't it. It's not it. You got kids and husband at home. You ain't young and fit like that no more. And it just wasn't safe. So I had to let it go. So that was my experience of working at FedEx. I lasted 3 weeks, which to me, I think that's an accomplishment because that first day, and I'm going to have to say this, the worst boxes that we got at FedEx that I despise is the Chewy boxes. Them Chewy boxes alone will make you think about, hey, if I see one more, and I be out sometimes and I see Chewy boxes on people's doors and I get flashbacks. And I'm like, that did it. That was some of what that did it. So thank y'all if y'all lasted through this whole video to hear my experience on working at FedEx Ground Warehouse. Thank you. I really appreciate it. This is one of many videos of me talking about different experiences that I've had. Thank you so much for taking out your time to listen. Please like and comment and let me know how it was for you and if you've experienced any of these things working at FedEx too. Bye.